Thank you, Colin. And a big thank you to Andy Mark for all of their help, all of their support. We really appreciate it. So, let's see. Now we get into the other interesting part, which is open questions. Now, I did have a question box here, believe it or not. I did not stuff this full of my own questions. As a matter of fact, I looked in here this morning and there was one. Any more? And we do have some blue slips. And if you want to put any questions in there when I happen to not standing around, certainly feel free. And you can attend the next session, which is this afternoon. And then we have another one on Friday. It's right there on the board. It says, Bill, I realize you may not be the appropriate person, but I need to express a concern. The splitting of fields to accommodate the Friday night event has cost our team. It is very difficult to tell visitors and school sponsors where we are. I know the media attention is great, but in my opinion, we should attract people by what we are doing. Please pass this on and ask for us to consider this in the future. Okay, here's the lowdown. We got another one? Okay. Here's the lowdown on what's going on. Why do we end up having 2 fields in the pits? Why do we end up having 3 fields out in the dome? Back about almost a year ago, it was decided that FTC, if you remember, how many people here were in Atlanta? Anybody here in Atlanta last year? Where was FTC? FTC was all the way in the back. We're trying to really focus on FTC. The directive was we need to bring FTC forward. It's got to be part of the first family. We need to have FLL, FTC, and FRC all prominently displayed in the dome. So the task to me was, how can we do that? How can we bring FTC, put them in a place that's prominent, and kind of showcase FTC? Basically, what was going to happen is I was either going to have to lose Einstein and have 4 of our fields in the dome, and have somebody, either a Curie or a Galileo end up becoming Einstein, or I was going to have to put one of our fields in the pit and retain Einstein because we just could not fit everybody underneath the dome. And this is before we ended up even considering any entertainment or any stage. My biggest fear was I try to keep Einstein as pristine as we possibly can. Einstein needs to be a level playing field. When you go to Einstein, nobody should have played on Einstein before you get a chance to compete. So I was kind of limited as to what I could do. The other thing is if we ended up having 1 field here in the pits and 3 fields out in the dome area, there would be 1 division that would never play in the dome until you got to Einstein. So I was confronted with this interesting conundrum around how do I make it even, how do I still continue to have Einstein be what Einstein needs to be, and try to keep it fair. Actually, the entertainment became a blessing because at that point in time, one of the folks on my team said, hey, how about if we put the second field in the pits? By doing that, it enabled everybody to play under the dome and everybody to play in the pits. The other bit of information that you may not be aware of is there's a lot of people who remember this little thing called Disney. I guess a number of years ago we had this championship down in Orlando, and they remember it as being very close, very, very energetic. There are some opinions that, by being up in the stands in the dome that you really are too far away from the fields. So they wanted to have this really intense experience. So one of the things we thought we might be able to do is not only by having the fields here in the pits, let's have bleachers. Let's try to do some things differently and see if we can raise the level of energy and get teams even closer to the fields and try to make them feel intimate and also be very, very close to their pits. So in reality, the entertainment that's going to happen on Friday night had only a marginal impact as to what's going on out in the dome, and it did have a little bit of an impact as to the pit layout. But once again, in order to have 2 fields in here, we had to do some things a little bit differently. And originally we were going to have like 20-foot wide aisles and a lot of space and everything, but because of the great amount of space that we ended up having, we almost have twice as much space as we had in Atlanta. We were able to pull this off and make it all work. So there are reasons behind why we ended up having the 2 fields in the pits and the 2 playing fields in the dome. So anyhow, I think we had one more question. Oh. Let's see. Bill, I am very concerned about the way our parents, administrators, and corporate sponsors are being treated with the pits. With the pits, fields, spectators are turned away with no safety glasses. What? First isn't lending them one, and we don't have enough for everyone we invited. First treats its only VIPs like celebrities, but our team VIPs like they are in the way. There goes our funding. The pit fields are small and unprofessional anyway. Now we have to uninvite our guests. Let's see. As far as safety glasses, we've been trying and trying and trying. We've been telling teams and telling teams and telling teams, you need to bring your safety glasses with you when you come. Every year when we go to regional events, most of the safety glasses that go, I don't want to say most, but a lot of the safety glasses that we bring to the events go out to the teams and they disappear and they don't come back. Or they go out to the invited guests, they disappear, they don't come back. Unfortunately, because of safety, and First will continue to emphasize safety, we need to make sure that people wear safety glasses in the pits. We're working very hard to try to get additional safety glasses. However, it's finite. We have X amount. When they run out, it's very hard for us to get the ones back that people take home, or if people in the pits who are team members end up having 4, 5, and 6 pairs of safety glasses, or just didn't decide to bring their safety glasses with them. I apologize to the team who felt like as if their VIPs were uninvited. We do not want to have anybody feel like as if they're not invited. We will go out of our way to try to make sure that people feel like they're part of First. We will continue to work with trying to manage the safety glass issue, but this is one of the things that's very hard for us because we never know how many people are going to come to an event, and we try to accommodate everybody. But once again, we need to have the teams be realistic and be responsible in providing safety glasses. So I don't know if that's going to make the team happy, but that's basically the way it is. We do have some questions now. This gentleman right here.
Okay, I'm going to expand on that question a bit. What I think they're saying is Mom can't skip from here over to the field without safety glasses. Is there a way to get to a path that doesn't require safety glasses? Maybe along the wall or something.
Based on the avenue or the approach in order to get to the fields, right now we still have pit layouts so that you have to kind of go around the pits, and anytime you're walking around the pits, we don't have an exclusion zone saying that there's not going to be any accidents, there's not going to be any flying debris at this place, because we can't predict that. So unfortunately, it's something we're going to have to work on. We don't have anything right now. We'll certainly look at next year to see if there's some ways that we can end up designing the layout of the pits to try to get people, to the fields. I can't guarantee you that, but we'll certainly look into it. Okay. Okay. Other questions?
Hello. Logistics of the people in the pit here getting out to the arena to be a spectator, having to go all the way around is crazy. If you could give us a direct path next to the robots and stairs up to, it'd be much appreciated.
Well, unfortunately, there is no stairs right up there. Unfortunately, the way the dome is set up, the access here is kind of unfortunate, but that's going to have to be for the teams, the drive teams, and we're going to have to drive people up around the other way. When you're here in the pits, it's very easy to access the field here, but I understand there are problems getting out there. And that's going to be a problem we're going to have to address. Okay? Other questions? Don't forget, this is the first time we've tried to pull this off in St. Louis, and the planning has been very dynamic and very interesting. We didn't really understand that there was going to be this entertainment until probably about 2-3 months ago, and even then it was on, it was off, it was on, it was off. If you notice, the word didn't really get out till, what was it, Tuesday? I think there were people negotiating contracts and negotiating things until Tuesday morning. So, this was a very dynamic situation, and we've been trying to react to try to make sure that, first of all, that everybody had a very successful championship, and then with the added opportunity of having the entertainment that it's going to be happening on Friday night, and we tried to accommodate that. So there's a lot of lessons to be learned. We want you to talk to us if there are things that we can do better. I mean, the access to the stands absolutely is something. I mean, I didn't even think about that. So, it's one of those things that just, it happens. and we'll try to fix it. I don't know how we're going to do it. We'll certainly have some meetings, and we'll talk about it, see what we can do on a short term. Longer term, we need to look at next year because we will be here for 2 more years. So we need to fix some of those things. Other questions?
Yes, just some feedback for next year.
Okay.
A lot of teams, when they scout the pit, scout competition, use electronics. They're using laptops and so on. Gone are the days of paper. Very few teams do that. Having an electric power feed available in the bleachers would be real help. I don't know how you'd manage that, but if you can somehow figure that out, I'm sure we can share power strips. We don't need a lot of power. We just need a little. But think about that for next year.
Okay, it's certainly something we'll think about. No guarantees, but we'll take it under advisement. Thank you. Other questions? The questions can be about anything. This is your chance. You get an opportunity to ask a question about anything.
Well, I've got to tell you, there's the first person that's ever listened. We were all talking about the fact that the volume is so damn loud that while the music's playing, no one is talking to each other. But yet, when the music is down or off, we can all converse. But when you stand in the pits and look up at the audience, they just sit there like zombies because you can't talk. And you can't talk reasonably. If this is a thinking contest, then what the hell is really going on here with this loud volume?
And let's see, one of the things that we're looking at is later on this afternoon, we're looking at possibly, in the pit area in particular, is not playing any music while the action is going on in the field, just playing the music while the teams are going on and off the field and things like that. Because once again, what we're trying to do is trying to do some things a little bit differently, and we're going to try to see if we can get the teams out there yelling and cheering and screaming for their alliances and trying to get more team participation. So the intent this afternoon is to focus the music when the teams are not actually out there playing on the field. Nancy.
For you? I have 2 questions for you. First, unless I somehow missed it, when is your mentor breakfast? I haven't seen like an exact day and time for that. I've been checking my email and it just said to be announced. And then second, please have the mascot parade. It is important to do that. It's big, it's fun, it's festive, and I didn't see anything mentioned here for the mascot parade.
Okay, your first question about the mentor breakfast. I think it's either Friday or Saturday morning. I think it's Saturday morning. The pits, the admin should have an answer. If not, what's that? Yeah, pit admin should have the answer for you. Like I said, I think it's like 8 or 8:30 on Saturday morning, but don't quote me on that. As far as the mascot parade, I know in the past we used to do a robot parade. I know some of the regionals do mascot parades. We'll certainly take that under advisement too. We certainly encourage mascots. We'll certainly try to see what we can do. Once again, I can't guarantee that right now for this year, but we'll certainly try to see what we can do in the future.
Okay, thank you for answering my question.
Other questions?